Your guards let one bee slip by. Her scent is off, her path deliberate. A single scout can summon thousands when nectar is scarce. By tomorrow, the door fails. Rewind. You hatch worker, not by choice, in a colony of tens of thousands. About 3 weeks from egg to flight, and your first duty is the entrance. Late summer to autumn, Aug Oct, flowers fade, and nectar thins. The dearth begins. Strong colonies turn bold. Weaker neighbors become targets for honey theft. The smell is the invitation. One drop of exposed honey can broadcast a feast. Human hands often help. Open boxes, wet gear, syrup spills, scouts notice fast. At a single narrow entrance, your guard line meets the first testers. Robbers don't drift like lost bees. They grapple, chew cappings, and fight for access. You serve one queen, who anchors tens of thousands. Lose her, the brood chills. Your job tightens. Hold the door now, or winter arrives with empty comb. You hold a small slot, fewer gaps, fewer attackers at once. Entrance reduction buys time during dearth. Guard bees can meet intruders one by one. A robbing screen forces a detour. Residents learn it. Visiting thieves slam the mesh. Screens don't replace guards. They slow recruitment by blocking the straight scent path. Orientation circles look calm. Robbing looks frantic and direct. Fighting at the slot, chewed cappings, and dead bees mean it's a raid, not drift. Inside, steady food keeps the brood warm and fed. Panic scatters nurses. If stores fall and traffic surges, the queen's work stutters, and larvae chill. A knot in the line opens. Intruders slip inside and rip open a cell. Fresh honey scent blooms. Outside, bees redirect, and numbers build fast. Late-season wasps test entrances too, hunting adults and stealing food. Multiple pressures converge in dearth, so your smallest opening becomes survival strategy. Inside, workers recap ruptured comb and fan hard. Every patch shrinks the scent plume. Leak less, attract fewer thieves, control the smell, and your odds improve. Disturbance spreads smell and stress. Quiet keeps food moving and nurses on task. When the center stays steady, the queen lays. Chaos steals tomorrow's workers. In a yard, exposed honey pulls eyes from nearby boxes too. Distance rarely saves a weak entrance. More neighbors means more wings testing your door. She circles back, and more wings ride the same smell to your door. Every new rip feeds the trail. Hesitation fades as the path becomes obvious. Numbers surge, and the fight spills over the threshold into open comb. Some residents gorge on free honey and rush the cells. Order buckles under reward. Robbing moves more than honey. Non-resident bees can bring mites and disease into brood lanes. Some spores persist for decades. Lose stores now, and winter arrives thin and risky. Wet supers and syrup drips turn the yard into a beacon. You pull gear, seal bins, wipe spills. Every reduced odor cuts recruitment. Cracks matter. You close upper notches and reduce entrances to one defensible slot. A small doorway shortens guard lines and limits simultaneous fights. Row by row, capped cells vanish. The hive loses winter calories by the minute. Brood islands widen as nurses retreat. Chilled larvae mean fewer workers later. You form a living ring while traffic hammers the corridors around her. If she falls or stops laying, recovery stalls for weeks you do not have. A moving cloud forms as neighbors track the odor and align on your entrance. Distance inside 1 yard doesn't save you. Traffic funnels to the easiest door. 2 streams develop, outsiders hauling honey out and residents swept along behind. Once flow runs outward, a hive can empty fast and never reset before cold. Fatigue widens gaps. Attackers slip in rhythm, while bodies pile at the slot. Once timing breaks, a door becomes a funnel. Each shove carries more bees inside. A surge floods narrow corridors. Attendants compress into a trembling ring. She stumbles, then steadies. If the ring breaks, eggs and brood lose their center. Thin coverage leaves brood edges cool. Uncovered cells stop developing. Empty comb spreads, and tomorrow's workforce shrinks with each chilled patch. Cool air slows wings, and for a short window, the rush thins. You tighten the slot again and pry bodies free to rebuild a line. With warmth back, traffic resumes along the memorized path. Scouts don't need orders. The smell alone maps a straight line to your door. A new push tears the ring. Attendants scatter, and the corridor jams. If she goes down now, the colony's center collapses before cold arrives. Robbers probe every edge of the screen, testing corners your guards ignore. A tiny gap above the flow becomes the new doorway. Pressure tilts upward. Where screens are absent nearby, mites ride in faster, with non-resident visitors. Robbing isn't the only import route, but dearth brings more strangers to your comb. Wax crumbs and bodies pile at the landing board. Torn lids mark emptied cells. Each scrap of wax equals lost honey, and winter has fewer calories to burn. Attendants reform as she slows. Steps shorten, abdomen low, crown tilts. Lose her now, and every replacement timeline outruns the cold edge of autumn. Warmth thickens the cloud again. Outsiders push deeper than before. The last ring of food sits near brood. Lose it, and nothing cushions the chill. By noon, the stream thins. Not mercy. There is less to steal. The quiet feels like safety, but hollow comb echoes and brood edges cool. Comb feels light in your legs. Survival turns into math. Heat and brood against shrinking food. You ration effort at the door and inside, because waste now becomes winter loss. You close ranks around her. Short steps, steady breath, crown barely level. If her rhythm stalls, the colony's chance to rebuild before cold vanishes. She threads back through the gap, and hardened followers punch at the last capped cells. Wax caps burst. The trail brightens one more time, and the inner ring gives way. When the rush fades, strangers still wander the boxes and slip through doors. They can ferry mites and hardy spores between colonies long after honey is gone. Home feels bigger because comb is lighter. Clustering becomes a budget, not a habit. You pull bees off edges to keep a warm core and stretch the last honey. Quieter corridors aren't safety, they're emptiness. She stands, barely, inside a thin ring. From here, survival depends on cluster, not rules. Cold tests what hunger started. Night cold squeezes the cluster. Light comb gives little buffer for heat. You trade wing beats for warmth, because every effort now burns tomorrow's food. At grey dawn, a thin seam opens. Outsiders slip toward the inner corridors. The narrow slot holds less, but timing slips, and the press gains ground. Bodies jam the hallway, guards stumble, and the core passage compresses. One more shove, and the ring will rupture toward the queen's lane. The ring snaps, she falls under feet, crown askew, attendants scattered. With the queen down, brood chills fast, and recovery time disappears. Silence settles. Open cells cool, and the cluster tightens around almost nothing. Robbers drift away when yield drops. Disease risks linger in thin traffic. There was no army, no plan, only smell, hunger, and a door that slipped. In dearth, even next-door bees strip a home to wax and leave it to freeze.